everybody.
Welcome to Ham on WTBR, the all-inclusive ham radio show for hams and non-hams alike. Be part of the show. Contact us on www.facebook.com/HamJamTV. And now the hosts of the show, Peter and Jessica. Ham on.
Good morning from Berkshire County, Pittsfield, Massachusetts. It's Ham on WTBR. I'm Peter, and over on the other side.
Good morning, everybody. How are you today? It'd be Jess. Hi, how you doing?
And we have a good show today. It's Women in Amateur Radio, and we actually have a guest on the show today with us, who we're going to bring on about the half hour, but we'll bring her on now. Darlene Mattice, KD2KOW. Welcome to WTBR FM.
Thank you for having me.
So we'll go to the news.
And our wonderful news today. We have Amateur Radio's Communications Club that recently assisted the U.S. Coast Guard in tracking the source of interference for VHF Marine Channel 5A. That would be on 156.250 megahertz for non-hams. That's what that band is. For hams, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The channel serves the commercial vessel traffic service north of Bush Point and on Whidbey Island, as well as in some Canadian waters of the Strait of Juan Fuchsia. The service offers monitoring and navigational assistance for ships in that region. Somebody decided to be a dork. The club reports that the channel was unusable for 30 hours. Oh my goodness. It forced all traffic to other channels that I had to reroute because somebody wanted to be an idiot and clog up this channel for 30 hours. This is unbelievable. This is commercial traffic, and somebody is just being a freaking fudging idiot. Sorry about that. It was a fishing vessel that was apparently offending everybody at the harbor fuel dock. That's insane. The interference was also pinned down to a problem in Santa Fe Road. 144 and 146 megahertz was removed from the French proposal for additional aeronautics applications. The 144, 146 megahertz amateur radio segment has been removed from a French proposal to study additional astronautical mobile services applications. France had included the band, which comprised the entire 2 meter band in the I2U Region 1 for consideration as a European Conference of Telecommunications and Postal Administrators position for World Radio Communication Conference 2019. Heading into a just ended conference proprietary group meeting in Turkey this week, France was holding the firm proposal to have AMS share 144 and 146 megahertz with amateur radio. The GPA meeting considered sept and ECC proposals on this. Another news and other issues for WRC 19. The International Amateur Radio Union had called the French proposal on sound and contended that sharing the current with the radio stations would not be possible, what had a significant likelihood of mutual interference. You can't have interference on the radio. But, yeah, it sounded terrible. And that's all I have for news. I'm sorry.
All right, the Dayton Amateur Radio Association, DARA, has signed a 5-year agreement to keep Dayton Hamvention at the Greene County Expo Center. The agreement was announced on September 9th by Hamvention General Chairman Jack Gerb's WB8SCT. It has been a wonderful experience working with the Expo Center team in the development of this agreement. Gerbers said with the 5-year agreement signed, the Expo Center and Hamvention can move forward with additional enhancements to the facilities. Dayton Amateur Radio Association President Ron Kramer, KDAENJ, said that the DARA board is approving the contract, noted that the relationship with the Expo Center and Greene County, the city of Xenia, and Xenia Township has proven especially rewarding. Kramer said they all have worked hard to make Hamvention a success. Over the last 3 years, we look forward to a great relationship over the next 5 years and beyond. Hamvention's 2019 attendance was 32,472, the highest recorded since the move to the Exposition Center in Xenia in 2017, which was coordinated by Kramer, the Hamvention General Chairman, and 2017 and 2018. The largest amateur radio show in the U.S., Dayton Hamvention, is held the third full weekend in May. The dates for 2020 already are May. So mark this on your calendar for all the hams and the non-hams.
Mark it down.
Mark it down. May 15th through the 17th, 2020 for the Dayton Hamvention.
Oh, wow. That is crazy.
And let's see, we're going to... also, today being September 11th, it's the 18-year anniversary of the events that happened on 9/11. I want to put this out because not a lot of people know this. Steve Jacobson, N2SJ, who was a silent key on September 11th, 2001. It was his job to keep the public safety and emergency communication in the New York tri-state area working. He was to work from 8 till 4, but his day ended very quickly when a plane crashed into the building just beneath the upper floors, which housed the transmitters, which Steve Jacobson maintained until the very end. Hey, do you have any more news over there?
Oh, boy.
What have you got? As we stall.
I have an article on 9/11 if you want me to.
Go ahead. Do your article on 9/11, and then we'll go
Sorry,
to. We'll do the article on 9/11 real quick, and because I think we kind of have to do something for that because the amateur community was actually there after the towers fell. And provided communication because once the South Tower went down, all the antennas and everything went down. So
actually, from the article that I'm reading and that I found, amateur operators mobilized within minutes of the first attack on the World Trade Center and then responded magnificently in Washington, D.C. and in Pennsylvania. So they were right there doing work when the first tower got hit. On September the 11th, 2001, in the days and weeks since, amateur radio operators have demonstrated their readiness, perhaps as never before. While amateur radio service and amateur radio emergency service and radio amateur civil emergency service training might not have readied them to fully comprehend the terrible events of that day, amateur radio operators were among the first volunteers that were the first to volunteer to station their skills and themselves to help out their country. There was originally a simulated emergency test that was going to happen that day. The emergency coordinator, Tom Karuta, KA2D, was actually planning weeks earlier for the test to happen in October. The events of 9/11, however, changed that, and without the luxury of the sort of advance warning that might occur in weather-related disasters, he let everybody know right away what happened. And this is true, this is a quote from him, and we found ourselves facing a disaster that nobody in their wildest dreams had ever imagined. And this one was right in our own backyard. It's kind of scary. The words that came across his radio that day was, "This is not a test. This is true." Providing emergency communications tops the list of the reasons that validate amateur radio in the eyes of the FCC. Given the vulnerability of the cell towers, some have predicted that radio was better. And for those that don't know, when the terrorists struck 9/11 in New York City and Washington, September 11th, however, commercial telecommunications systems, wired and wireless, were severely compromised that day. New York City broadcasters using the World Trade Center antenna went dark. As Dad told you, when the plane hit the tower, the antenna went down with it. As the tower crashed. It was insane. No. As the nature of the threats was reorganized, federal, state, and local officials declared a state of emergency. So the minute the tower hit, the state of emergency was already up. Along with federal agencies, the FCC was shut down that day. It's crazy. No one knew what to expect. Racist teams found themselves suddenly and unexpectedly activated. Then, not just in the immediately affected areas of New York City and Washington, D.C., but across the U.S., Aries groups went on alert everywhere. So, it not only affected New York City, it affected the whole ham community. They had to let everybody know the news. It just goes to show you, hams are the first ones to let everybody know what was happening. And everybody thought that the first attack was a Cessna. Okay. That's insane.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Jess. We know the events of 9/11. We're not going to spend a lot of time on that. Just so everybody knows the schedule, we're on the PCTV side live right now.
Yes,
if you turn on 1301, you will see us live on PCTV. We replay Thursday at 8, Thursday at 8 p.m., Friday at 10:30 a.m., and Sundays at 3 a.m. for your night owls. All right, we'll do the propagation report here. Space weather.
Space weather.
Old solar cycle 24 sunspots returned this week, but for only 2 days, Sunday and Monday, with a sunspot number of 12. Average daily solar flux increased from 66 reported in last week's propagation forecast bulletin. Radiation from a coronal hole increased the average planetary A index from 5.7 last week to 19.9 this week, with the level on Saturday and Sunday at 38 and 45. In Fairbanks, Alaska, College A index, Fairbanks, Alaska College A index reached 59.
Sorry about that. The host's tongue-tied.
59 and 86 and at one point on Sunday, the K index was 8. The College K index, a component measured every 3 hours and used to calculate the daily A index, had not previously reached 8 since twice in 2018 on August 26th and 2 weeks later on September 11th. Predicted solar flux is 68 on September 6th through the 13th, 67 on September 14th through the 22nd, 68 on September 23rd through October 6th, and then 67 on October 7 through 19, and 68 on October 20th. Predicted planetary A index is 10, 8, and 8 on September 6th through 8, 5 on September 9 through 22, 8 on September 23, 5 on September 24 and 25, and then 10, 35, 44, 24, and 8 on September 26th through 30th, 5 on October 1 through 3, 8 on October 4 through 5, and on October 16 through 19, and 8 on October 20th. Geometric activity forecast for the period September 6th, October 2, 2019 from FK Janda. OK1HH. Geometric field will be quiet. Okay, let's see. Quiet on September 10th and 11th. 20th and 21st. Quiet to unsettled on September 8th, 13th, 18th, 19th, 22nd, and 25th.
Oh, wow.
Quiet to active on September 9th, 12th, 14th, 17th, 23, 24, and 30. Unsettled to active on September 6th, 7 and the 26th, and active to disturb September 29th, 27th to 29th. The solar wind will intensify on September 6th, 16th through the 18th, 24 and 27, 28, 30, and October 1 and 2. Lance Collister, W7GJ of Frenchtown, Montana, wrote, even though the ionospheric propagation other than ES seems a distant memory for most of us in northern latitudes, lower solar activity means great conditions for 6 meters EME. And activity on 6 meters EME has been steadily increasing due to the increased use of the very sensitive digital mode of JT65A and a rapidly expanding 6-meter arrays and amplifiers around the world. If you are having trouble keeping track of all the recent activity on 6-meter EME, you're not alone. This has been an amazing year for 6-meter EME DX positions. I count 14 new DXCC being activated on 6-meter EME this year, in addition to new DXCC such as ZL7DX and 9K2GS home stations coming on the air this year. There already have been 6-meter EME DX positions to V84SAA, T77C, CP1GJ, and CY9C. But be sure to get things ready for even more to come in the next few months. Watch for S79GJ, HBO/S59A, A35JT, VP6R, ZK3A, A21EME, 5H3EME, VP8DBL, and others. And we're going to go to a break, and when we come back from the break, we will have our first guest on WTBR.
Impressive. Most impressive.
Berkshire weather.
WTBR radar weather for the Pittsfield area. Rest of tonight, mostly cloudy. Not as cool with lows in the lower 60s. Southwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday, mostly cloudy with a chance of showers in the morning, then partly sunny in the afternoon. Warmer with highs in the lower 80s. West wind around 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain 30%. Wednesday night, partly cloudy in the evening, then becoming mostly cloudy. Lows in the lower 60s. Northwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Weather forecasts for WTBR FM are provided by the National Weather Service.
Hi everybody, this is Getty Lee for RAD. To many of us, drunk driving is something that other people do. Certainly not one of our friends or relatives would do such a thing. When you see someone who's had too much to drink, about to get into a car, urge them to give up the keys and find alternate transportation. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, you should too.
And I know.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
In the early hours after the tsunami, it was ham radio that was on the air, saving lives. When Florida was ripped by hurricanes, the hams were there. In the critical moments after the attack of 9/11, it was the hams who coordinated emergency messages. When disasters strike, the hams are ready. Ham radio works when other communications don't. To learn how you can become a ham radio operator, call the ARRL, the National Association for Amateur Radio, at 1-800-326-3942.
Underwriting support for WTBR programming comes from Superior Graphics in Dalton, offering silkscreen printing and embroidery on garments of all types, as well as team and group sales, graphic and logo design services. Superior Graphics, one stop for all your graphic needs. 399 Main Street in Dalton, 684-4910. Underwriting support for
You're listening to the
WTBR
Shane O'Mac Show, right here on WTBR.
also comes from Ken's Bowl on Dalton Ave in Pittsfield.
Okay, little technical problem there, but we are back. Welcome back. Too many buttons to push. This topic today is about women in amateur radio, and live in the studio. Good morning. We have Darlene Mattice, Kilo Delta 2, Kilo Oscar Whiskey, who volunteered to be the first guest on the show. Welcome to him.
Yeah. Okay.
Welcome to Ham on WTBR.
Thank you. Don't believe me, everybody. They went ahead, they hot-typed me and got me in here.
No, we didn't quite hog tie her, but we did offer her ice cream at the end.
Yes.
So, Darlene...
come to the dark side. We have cookies.
Come to the dark side. We have cookies. So, I wanted to read something before we get started. I think this is what most women think of, and when you hear this, I think you may agree, but... and then we'll talk to you for a bit. It says, ham radio, you mean that hobby for crotchety old men who sit around in their basements talking to other crotchety old men? No thanks, I'm not interested. I'm sure there are a lot of women, young girls, who have been encouraged to take up the amateur radio hobby, but think of it as just something old men do. And while it's true that old men make up the majority of licensed ham or amateur radio operators, it's just a hobby for men. Women make up 15% of all licensed amateur operators in the United States. The last count that I saw, there were approximately 700,000 licensed ham radio operators in the United States, which means there are only around 105,000 women to have gotten licensed to operate. While it seems cool to be part of a rare breed, it's a shame that more women or young girls aren't taking part in this fun hobby. Besides, when men hear a woman's voice on the radio, it tends to pique their interest. A woman who takes part in radio contesting can rack up points in a hurry because the men flock to her quicker than they would other men. With today's modern feminist movement, we're given the impression that women of the past never had the opportunity or intelligence to do some of the same things men could, especially if pertaining to something like electronics, but that's not the case. There are so many young women in the early years of amateur radio who took up the hobby not just for the purpose of communication, but to build their own radios, like Kathleen Parkin, who built her own radio at the age of 15, or took jobs on passengers or steamships as wireless operators like Graylin Packer, who was the youngest woman to ever hold that position. Since science, technology, and engineering and math, with the creation of the STEM incentive, there is hope that young girls will develop an interest in amateur radio. There's more to this hobby than just talking on the radio, which is true. So, Darlene.
Which is very, very true.
Again, thank you for being on the radio here with us live, and tell us a little bit about yourself, if you would.
My name is Darlene. My call sign is KD2KOW, a.k.a. The Cow. It was kind of like a joke from a fellow ham that we all know and love. But otherwise, I managed to go ahead and get involved into the hobby because of my husband, KD2JKV. As anyone knows and hears his voice, if they get on the 911, they'll go ahead and they'll hear him.
The 911.
Oh, yeah. The 911, as everyone goes ahead and... Sorry, it's just one of them crazy days here. But otherwise, it's just a hobby that I enjoy because I enjoy science very, very much. Going ahead and enjoying times with the family and helping to go ahead at times when I want to pull my hair out otherwise and putting up the antennas. It can be a very difficult situation if you're not totally inclined on thinking about climbing on different things and putting the antennas in the right position, making sure that they're facing in the right areas can be very, very difficult. We have done it in the past in our former home. When you came there, it looked like a antenna farm. It had every different kind of place known to man. I mean, we had them hanging out of windows. We had them in the yard. We've had them in different positions. I mean, if any of our fellow friends came, they used to turn around and tell us, wow, this is exciting. Yeah, I was the only crazy woman in the world to allow her husband to go ahead and hang wires out of her bathroom. Can you believe that? Yes. I was one of those crazy, wonderful women who decided I wanted to get involved in this hobby. I would let my husband go ahead and hang these things in there as long as one thing. I got on the radio myself. A lot of our hams on the other channels used to turn on and say, "Oh, you allowed her to get on there today?" No. I would take the mic away from him, turn on and get on there and just squawk my mouth off because there was no way of quieting me on there. And one other thing, if they heard me, like Pete had said, yes, you can guarantee that was something they wanted to hear, because the moment a woman got on there, forget it, the world came to an end. And that is exactly what happens when a woman gets on there. Trust me, ladies, it's not a thing for men. Get on there. You can go ahead. There's men of all ages on there. My son-in-law, who's a very young man, he gets on there. He has his. There are beautiful friends of ours right now. There are several of our young gentlemen that are just became hams. They're on there. You cannot go ahead and turn around and say, no, I don't want to get involved. Hey, give it a shot. You never know. You may enjoy it. If you love science, this is something for you. Trust me. There's a lot of things that you can go ahead and enjoy.
Okay, thank you. That took care of about 5 questions that I have on the screen here, but we will move on. And how did you? Okay, well, we'll go right to this because whatever. This is live. We can do this here. Apparently, how did you get interested in amateur radio? In case you didn't tell us in the first place, but knock yourself out.
By listening to you. I was enjoying everything that you were doing, so I figured, oh, what the heck? You know, if you can't beat them, join them. And trust me, I've watched my husband over the course of the years. Even when we were dating, he was into radio, so I followed. Well, if you can't beat them, join them. And trust me, ladies, I went ahead and I joined them, and I love every minute of it because it just brought us closer together. A lot of people turn around and say, no, that's not part of a relationship. No. If you're part of their life, This is part of what they do. Join in. You may just enjoy what they're doing. If not, hey, all you can say is you gave it a shot.
If you love them, you're going to get into their interests.
Exactly. And it'll only cost you $15 to go ahead and do it. It's not something you go ahead and you take one of these wonderful books. Here's my general. Yeah, I have my general license.
Yeah, you might have to, because we're actually on the radio, so you might have to describe it. Not everybody is watching PCTV at the moment.
That's exactly. Duh.
It would
Sorry.
be the AARL General Class License
General Class
Manual.
License book, yes. Sorry. I was born blonde. Sorry about that. One of those mornings. It's the ARRL has this one and has the tech book as well. You have to be a technician first. You have to go straight for the technician, which is the same thing. I mean, the test can be a little bit nerve-wracking. I'm not going to lie. And yes, you may end up failing if you're not good with the questions or the memories of going ahead and doing it. Take it from me. They can tell you. I failed the first time, and I thought my world had came to an end. No, it did not come to an end. I just dusted myself off with the help of Jessica.
Yes, I was her helper and her teacher. And the second time she got it, and she aced it right away.
Oh, yeah. Not a problem. I aced it, and I walked out of there, and my friend, our good ham friend, goes ahead, and he's the one who took me, brought me back, and home. And the first thing he says when he found out that I had it, we got on his radio, and he turned around and he says, "Pete, we have a small problem." Pete thinking, okay, she failed. My God, I'm going to hear my wife cry her heart out. No, he turned around and he goes, "She has something to tell you." I turned around and I told him straight up when I said, "You have to go ahead now and let me use your radio." I got it. And I screamed it loud enough, and I thought I had blown his ears off on the other end. And I think I almost did a dance, but they ended up getting my sign. And when I got my call sign, and I told everyone what my call sign was, that was the end of it. I turned into the world's biggest joke because I ended up with cow. What else, Friends of mine went ahead and sent a beautiful birthday thing with dancing cows that says KD2KOW on it, and the cow is moving. Yes, the person who sent it to me is also a fellow ham.
Oh, yes, it's a running joke.
It's a running joke now to go ahead, but sometimes your call sign ends up being who you are. You use it as your personality. You take it along with you. It's part of your heart. So like I said, getting involved into it is the best thing I've ever done. I love it. I get on there. I say hello to everybody. If I don't, people think I don't exist anymore. They think they buried me in the backyard or in the basement or, So I at times I just turn around and tell them, "Hey, I need that." And I grab a hold of it and say hello. And I also have a lot of fun.
Impressive. Most impressive.
Okay, that's throw that in there. So in school before, I know when we were in school and then when you were in school, Jess, we didn't have STEM. We had the science classes.
They had just kind of started STEM a little bit when I was there.
Right. So, Darlene, in school, were you like the science aficionado? Did you take science? Did you take math? Did you ace all this stuff too? Did astronomy, stars, everything, all this stuff pique your interest?
Actually, I really aced science like you would not believe. I was just a buff. I used to love to listen to the teacher. A lot of the other students would get upset with me because the teacher would be talking. I'd be going, "Shh, shh, shh, quiet, quiet. He's talking. And I would get stares from like, yeah, she's listening. No, I wanted to listen and learn. Math, what can you say? It comes and goes, but I did enjoy it at times. One particular math class was the greatest of all. I had a special math class that I took, and
that math, that favorite bath time that she went ahead and had was the day she met my dad.
Yeah, that's a separate interview all by itself. That's a separate interview all by itself. You're listening to Ham On WTBM FM Pittsfield. So, I guess you answered these two questions, but I'm going to ask them anyway. Do you think, when I were talking about your tech test, because you took the tech and the general, and there's 3 tests you can take. You can like Darlene said, you start with the tech, but if you pass that, they'll give you the general and the extra, and you can take them. But do you think? And I know you studied, and we studied a lot.
Oh yeah,
a lot of online tests, and she has the general class manual and the technician class manual. But do you think when you sat and you took the test and you studied for it and whatever and you did that, did you think that the test was really hard as far as a woman's end of this? Now we're talking a woman's end of this. We're not talking the old men that are sitting on the radio right now going, test wasn't that hard. You should have been there when it was Morse code. The test was simple. But from a woman's point of view...
From a woman's point of view, no, not really. I don't really feel that the test is really, really hard as much as everyone claims it is. But, I mean, if I had to do probably the Morse code, yes, no doubt. I'm not going to lie. I probably would have gone ahead and pulled every ounce of my hair out and yanked it out because I had watched you do the Morse code, and I'm like, can I do that? Can I learn that? And I started to really, really pay attention to what he was doing and really started doing. A lot of people turned around and told me, if I've got the courage to do this and I've got the courage to pass all this, and I could probably go ahead and probably do the Morse code. I've even had friends turn around and say, watch out, Peach, you're able to take that one over too.
Well, you mentioned the Morse code, and if you watch the PCTV rebroadcasts, our opening, in the background of the opening, you actually hear the Morse code that taps out Ham on WTBR FM, and that was done by my friend and a fellow ham who's in his 20s. Sean K2NEL, who we will have on a later show. He will be here, and we'll have a whole show based on Morse code.
I still remember when he did it up at Greylock, and that one day.
Well, that wasn't
was crazy.
that wasn't Morse code. But since you broached the subject, we were up at Greylock, and Sean actually brought up a radio. We did some what's called hilltopping from the peak at Greylock, underneath the monopole for the K1.
That's right. He tried Morse code, but he couldn't get out.
Yeah, we were underneath the monopole for the K1 FFK repeater up in Adams.
Mom was there too.
Yeah, and Mom was there too. And he tried a little bit of Morse code. We threw a wire up in the tree, and we made some contacts there. We made some contacts on Simplex, on VHF, and all the time we're underneath the monopole for the repeater. So, Darlene, back to you. How did you study for the test?
Cannot really actually remember. I knew that I had gotten on one of the sites, which was on there. I mean, you can find them basically on any one of the websites that they have. I
know it was online flashcards. I know
that's
that. I can't remember the site.
Thank you.
I can't remember.
Sorry,
the site
it's sort of one of those brain farts. It happens when you're 53 years old and you start losing your mind. But I had some different kinds of things, and also I had a wonderful friend of ours, KD2HAT.
K2HAT.
K2HAT. Sorry, I am going to get hit if he ever hears that. Sorry about that, Hat. Sorry. But it does kind of get a little bit difficult. I mean, if you don't know where to go. I mean, if Pete remembers, I have one of those brain farts that we actually can actually remember where it was, but it was his idea to start it, but we managed to get me to do it, and it took off like flying colors. And I started to go ahead and use it for general, and that's when our good buddy went ahead and gave me this as well, the general manual, which you can go ahead and get at the AARL. And I suggest, if you're going to do this, definitely, because you can get everything in the inside of it that can give you all the answers that you need. And the best part about it is they also have the amateur radio band. They've got one of the there you go, gives you all the band information onto it. It gives you everything that you can. Yep, and it's all in graphs, and it helps, and it gives you all the details that you need to know exactly what's going on. I mean, trust me, it's the best thing for ladies. If we do have any of them that want to get involved into it, it's not something. If your husband is involved into it, by all means, if you have the sweetest, kindest man in all world, and you love that man, and you want to go ahead and have him.
Don't give any dirty looks over there.
I'm not sure what this has to do with ham radio, but we'll let you fly with this.
It does. I'm trying to say, if he's involved in the ham radio, and you may see some of these books around in your own home, by all means, if you do, pick one up, take a look at it. You never know. It might tickle your fancy to turn around and say, hey, honey, you know what? I want to take a look at that book that lady was talking all about, because maybe it's something I might want to do. Maybe it's something that I want to get involved in. I mean, it is some of the most best fun ever. You meet some of the most wonderful people. I mean, I went to there was one in Saratoga. I met some of the most greatest people you could ever imagine. Really, really, really nice. I mean, being out here, I've met some wonderful people as well, which you're gonna have a bunch of of our guests, and one of them is very, very, very wonderful. It's a very dear friend of ours, which will be one of the guests also. I mean, every time that something has happened in our lives, we have gone ahead and had a ham that has helped us. Moving out here, we had 2 wonderful ham friends that helped us. Hey, they're out there. They're like family, and they become your family. And you have someone to talk your heart out to. And it is one of the greatest, beautiful things ever created by science. By all means, enjoy, have fun, and hey, give it a shot. What do you got to lose, you know? Ooh, you might make a nice friend on the other end. You never know.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with Darlene and telling some more stories about women in amateur radio when we return.
Is it possible the 2 Utes?
To what?
What?
Did you say Utes?
Yeah, 2 Utes.
What is a Ute?
WTBR. Berkshire weather.
WTBR radar weather for the Pittsfield area. Rest of tonight, mostly cloudy. Night is cool with lows in the lower 60s. Southwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday, mostly cloudy with a chance of showers in the morning, then partly sunny in the afternoon. Warmer with highs in the lower 80s. West wind around 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain 30%. Wednesday night, partly cloudy in the evening, then becoming mostly cloudy. Lows in the lower 60s. Northwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Weather forecasts for WTBR FM are provided by the National Weather Service.
A public safety message from FEMA. The best time to prepare for a hurricane is right now. Here's what to do. 1. Make a note of local evacuation routes and be ready to evacuate when advised by local officials. Know where you would go if you needed to leave right away. perhaps a friend's house or a hotel. 2. Pack emergency supplies in your car. Include a battery-powered radio, flashlight, and extra batteries. Pack food. Consider foods that won't spoil, like canned goods, and don't forget that can opener. Store water in plastic bottles and be sure to include extra clothing and rain gear, and make sure you have a credit card handy and some cash. 3. Protect your property. Install storm shutters or have plenty of plywood on hand to protect windows. Remember, be ready to evacuate, pack emergency supplies in your car, and protect your property. Be ready for the next hurricane. To learn more, call your local emergency management office.
The U.S. Postal Service wants to remind everyone this year to protect themselves from becoming victims of identity theft. Your personal information is a gold mine for identity thieves. Identity theft involves acquiring key pieces of someone's personal information, such as a name, address, or social security number, in order to impersonate them. For more information, log on to www.consumer.gov/ncpw. A message from the U.S. Postal Service.
We would be honored if you would join us.
WTBR.
And we are back. Before we go back to Darlene for the interview, we have a few announcements that may pertain to some people. So, Jesse, you are up.
Here's our local event schedule for anybody who is interested. September the 28th, Berkshire Jazz Showcase. It will be at the Pittsfield Commons, noon to 5 p.m. This event was postponed on August 3rd, I'm guessing because of rain. Because we had one rainy August there. October 6th, the 64th Annual Fall Foliage Parade. Saturday, October 6th, 2019 at 1 p.m. The route runs 2 miles and starts at Ocean State Job Lot and ending at the high rise on Ash Street in downtown North Adams. If you want to be there, hey, show up. October 17th. October 17th, 5 to 7 p.m., downtown Pittsfield Incorporated and Downtown Business is hosting a trick-or-treat in downtown Pittsfield on Thursday, October 17th. Everyone, bring your kids. 5 to 7 p.m., visit downtown businesses in your best Halloween costume to score some hashtag downtown treats. Look for the orange pumpkin in the window. A participating venues list is released. So if you see a pumpkin, they're joining. Also, October 25th, this year's Halloween parade. October 25th, yay, my birthday, yay, woo. I get a parade for my birthday. Anyways, it will begin at 7 p.m. on Tyler Street. Ooh, my first Pittsfield Halloween parade, and it's on my birthday. Win-win situation. Downtown, also on the 25th, downtown Pittsfield Farmers Market every Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. through October. Rain or shine, the Common First Street. Then we have the information for the Pittsfield Trick or Treat. Again, that is October the 17th. We also have, let me see. Also on the 25th, we have the Bee Fair 25th Anniversary Masquerade Gala Ball. The time for that is 5:39 p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. It will be at the Proprietor's Lodge. 22 Woolbeek Road. If I'm saying this wrong, I'm sorry. Please do not murder me. I just moved here, so give me time. I'm guessing it's pronounced Woolbeek or Wabeek Road. Pittsfield, the attire is business casual, black or silver affair. Masks are optional. You can bring your own, or they'll have them for sale at the event made by individuals in the Bee Fair Day program. If you're looking for information or to register, go to www.befair.org/25gala. And then we have the Downtown Festival Frolic on the 6th, downtown Pittsfield again. We have the second annual festive frolic. That will be from 4 till 8 p.m. Everybody's invited to enjoy free and low-cost family activities in honor of the holiday festival. Enjoy art show, reef art auction, cookies decorating. There's going to be vendors. There's going to be the tree lighting and much, much more. So everybody who wants to go, there you go. There's your list of events. Have fun.
WTBR. Okay, people, time to disperse. Party's over.
All right. And just to remind you that we are on the PCTV side, on their schedule is we're live here Wednesday at 9 a.m. Replay will be Thursday at 8 p.m., Friday at 10:30 a.m., and Sundays at 3 a.m. So let's talk about we were talking about women in amateur radio, and my guest is Darlene Mattice, who's KD2KOW, who's also that control station up here for the Western Mass Traffic Net on the Mount Greylock K1 FFK repeater. Tell me a little bit how you got involved in that and why you wanted to get involved in NCS work.
You might say I was hogtied.
There seems to be a theme this morning about hogtying. There seems to be this theme going on.
No. Actually, I was asked to go ahead and see if I wanted to get involved into it. Actually, I did it so I could go ahead and relieve kind of like a stress that was going on at the time. My husband was doing so many nets. I think he had altogether, I think there was 5 or 6 of them at the time, because we were also doing the Capital District Traffic Net. Yeah, that was me. I was on there too as well, going ahead and helping in Albany. But we ended up doing the 9-1 also there. When we were in Albany, and when we got here, we kind of like lessened our load with that one because it seems like it had suddenly disappeared when the Capital District Traffic Net that is. The 9-1 was still rocking and rolling, and everyone was ready to go. And I was asked if I would go ahead and give a hand, and I said, sure, no problem. Throw me in, give me a date. Let's rock and roll. At times, I go ahead. Sometimes, when Pete was working, I would even cover and do a couple of the other ones, or I would listen to everyone else that was doing it to make sure that they were still following protocol, because a lot of them were rookies. They needed to know that someone was listening, and I was going out there and making sure that everyone was doing what they were supposed to, such as taking the proper timing, making sure that they were either writing battery or writing commercial. I mean, it's a way to let the AARL know that people are still out there, still running and still operating. You have a certain amount of things that you have to write down and give back to your head control person and let them know exactly what's going on, and give your schedule, your write out every time, and you give it to net control, and we all know who that is. That would be Mr. KD2JKV, and let him know that everything is going pristine. And so it was a fun time for me. and it still is. I go in, I kick in every time. So if you do go ahead and are a ham, and you are listening to the 9-1, hey, give us a shout. We like the extra talks.
All right, we got 5 minutes left in the hour, so we got to make these other questions a little bit quick here, so we get the rest of this stuff done. We'll do this one. You did make contacts. I mean, other than on the 9-1 and on the repeaters, because on your tech license you have 30 megahertz and up. And you, when we had propagation, used to live on 10 meters, 28 megahertz. So tell us briefly what it was like to make your first contact on HF.
Actually, it was really, really nice. You also, if you have know people whom actually think, when you make your first contact, you can pretty much go ahead and send it to the AARL, and they will give you a ticket, a paper that will actually tell you the very first person you make the contact with.
Oh,
their
your first
name,
contact
your name.
award.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. She remembers. Jessica remembers exactly because, like I said, there's times she'll go ahead and remember things when Mom doesn't quite remember at all.
All right, last question here. Well, we have a lot of non-hams listening to us as well as the ham radio operators. What would you tell the women, the non-ham women that are sitting listening to this broadcast or watching us on PCTV and going, maybe? To wrap this up, what is your thoughts for them real quick?
Like I said, give it a try. All you can do is give it one of those opportunities to go ahead and to give it a whirl. Also, you can go ahead and make international ladies. Yeah, you can also talk to those across the globe. I made mine. My very first one was on St. Patrick's Day, all the way to Ireland. Yeah, I remember that one too. That one was really special. So you can go ahead and pretty much do it. So, like I said, give it a whirl. All you got to do is just give it a try. If you want to go ahead, contact my husband. He'll go ahead and let you know for those here in Pittsfield. You want to give it a try and see exactly what it is. For any other places, same thing. Just give Pete a shout. He'll go ahead and he'll direct you in the right areas where you need to go. You have no problem whatsoever, and it's only cost you $15. What the heck? You can make beautiful people and nice friends. Give it a whirl.
All right. Thank you, Darlene. That was Darlene Mattice, KD2KOW. Did a nice job. Thank you for being on Ham On WTBR.
WTBR. We are the music makers. And we are the dreamers of dreams.
All right, real quick here. Next week, we will have Marcia Ford, KW1U, who is this section traffic manager here for Massachusetts. She'll be on here. Remember, you can always get a hold of us and be part of the show, www.facebook.com/HamJamTV. And one more time for the PCTV schedule. We are here Thursday at 8 p.m., Friday at 10:30 a.m., and Sunday at 3 a.m. on Pittsfield Community TV, and also live now on...
Yeah, that seemed to be the one.
1301.
That seemed to be the one that you forgot that we're live. That we are live every Wednesday.
So you can actually see when we mess up in the studio. You can watch the show and go, they messed up. Let's find out where it is.
Yeah, like Porky Pig over there. That's all.
Time to go. We say thank you. This is Ham On for myself, Peter, and Jessica, and our guest today, Darlene.
Hi, guys.
We like to say thank you, and we will see you next week. And remember...
Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful day.
Remember, Ham On.